So I have no idea what's going on here.
Declining theatre attendance, rising ticket prices, disappointing box office returns, shrinking theatrical windows, and now major studio buyouts by streaming giants. It's fair to say
Wait. Netflix is buying Warner Brothers?
windows, and now major studio
Netflix to buy Warner Brothers for 83 billion. They don't have the money. I don't believe for a second that Netflix has the money to do so. And it would be bad, really bad. Because that would mean all Warner Brothers stuff would go on Netflix, and you wouldn't be finding any more DVDs and Blu-rays of Warner Brothers movies out there. Because that would be bad for business. I hate globalists.
buyouts by streaming giants. It's fair to say that 2025 has been a rough old year for Tinseltown, for movie theatres, for audiences, and the entire movie industry. But here's the thing, these aren't bugs anymore. They're features. Features of a changing entertainment landscape, a changing culture, and a changing perception of what films even mean to us now. The recent news that Netflix have officially won—
Yeah, I think movies these days don't mean anything anymore. Okay, bye Hans. I guess good night. It's late for you. I think I grew up where there would be a new movie coming out and people would go crazy over it. It would be a cultural phenomenon. And now a movie comes out that costs 400 million, makes over a billion, and 1 month later no one talks about it anymore. No one. People today still reference movies from the 80s and 90s and even the 70s. But who's referencing a movie from even 10 years ago or 20? No one. Because no one cares. Oh my god, I just got depressed.
The bidding war to buy out Warner Brothers and their entire catalogue of IPs seems to have thrown the entire industry into a tailspin. Damn man, they've even petitioned the dreaded Orange Man to intervene and block the deal, as if the fucking White House has got any say over corporate mergers. The major fear in—
They kind of have. Kind of. In extreme cases. Just like in Germany.
Hollywood is that Netflix will gradually move away from the theatrical model and transition movies almost entirely to streaming. And well, they probably should be afraid of that because I'm pretty sure that's the plan all along. But
well, yes, that's the thing. The globalists wants everyone to be their pay piggy. And how do they do that? By having everything under control. How do they control everything? By having everything online. And so they also can completely change all the media. You like a movie from the 80s? Oh, that movie is not problematic. Now you can't watch it anymore. And they make it like it never existed.
this isn't just the actions of a single streaming giant that wants to destroy movie theaters purely for shits and giggles. It's a simple reflection of the reality facing the movie industry now. A reality that's been knocking on the door of Hollywood with increasing volume and declining patience for years now, and isn't going to be put off for much longer. It's time for some harsh truths, dear viewer, and the drinker is the one to administer them. The theatrical movie experience as we knew it is dying. It's not in a temporary slump, it's not just going through a bad spell right now, it doesn't need to hang in there until things pick up again, and you can't keep blaming it on fucking COVID.
It's all bullshit! All of it!
The fact is, it's not going to get better. What we're seeing now are the final stages of a process that started decades ago. To understand it,
decades? Home video might have started it, yes, I can see that.
Let us discuss the theatrical movie experience as we know it today, shall we? Now, imagine for a second that you're a typical American family man with a wife and 2 kids. You work a slightly unfulfilling corporate job that teenage you would probably be horrified by, but hey, it pays the bills, so whatever, I guess.
Sure.
And yeah, the sex is more of a predictable weekly ritual now than an exciting experience to look forward to, and you're harbouring a growing suspicion that a divorce could be on the cards once the kids have flown the nest and there's nothing left to hold the 2 of you together, but let's not worry too much about that right now. For today at least, you want to take the family out to the movies, so you drive for 30 minutes in heavy traffic to get to your local theatre.
Yeah. I would, by the way, always either take the bus or my bicycle to get to the theater.
You buy the tickets, which cost like $20 each, because of course...
Thankfully, the last time I was in the theater, it was, I think... Wait. I don't even remember. But I never paid $20. It was always lower. But I would always also go on days where, you know, it was cheaper, and daytimes that were cheaper.
The kids just have to see the film in IMAX. Then you have to buy overpriced drinks and snacks because nobody can just sit through a 2-hour movie without shoveling a constant stream of food and drink down their throats. Then you take your seats, which smell a bit weird and have a suspiciously sticky patch around the crotch area that hasn't been cleaned, but let's not worry too much about that. And oh dear, it seems like there's a bunch of teenagers sat right behind you.
That's the worst thing. Teenagers. It's not even little children, it's teenagers.
What are the odds, eh? I hope you like eavesdropping because you're going to be hearing them talk about every single detail of their lives throughout the entire movie. But hey, it's just part of the theatre experience, right? Oh yeah, and half the people around you already have their phones out, 1 or 2 are watching TikTok videos with the volume turned way up, and one guy's having a full-on argument with his girlfriend on speakerphone. But hey, it's just part of the experience, am I right? So you settle in as the lights go down, and you try to ignore the teenagers behind you, and the people who are still filtering in and tripping over people because the lights are off now, because it's time for trailers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Back in the day, and by the way, hello Xetai, I hope I pronounced it correctly. Even home video. If you rented a movie, you know, a blockbuster, you rent a movie, you go home, you put the movie in VHS, and what's the first thing you see? Trailers. Trailers for all the upcoming movies. Either for theater or for video. Man, such shit. And for today, we're doing good.
Well, actually, it's time for the commercials first. Usually for luxury cars you're never going to be able to afford. Then after 15 minutes or so, you're deemed worthy to watch the trailers. Then another 20 minutes after that, it's finally movie time. But oh no, now you're...
And by that point, my popcorn was basically gone. And I would always get a big bucket, because I like popcorn.
5-year-old daughter decides that she really needs to go to the bathroom because all that soda has to go somewhere, right? So you stumble your way to the end of the row, tripping over feet and pissing off everyone else around you in the process, and you take her outside so she can go for a piss, and eventually you make it back to your seat, and yeah, you've missed the first 10 minutes of the movie now, but hey, it's all part of the experience, right?
Yeah.
So you finally settle down to watch the film, and you try to ignore the gossiping teenagers and the people on their phones, and the stomach churning sound of food getting shoveled into faces, and the smell...
What's the video about? Netflix is about to buy Warner Brothers. And the video is about, you know, the theatrical experience. Which is bad.
Of sweaty, unwashed bodies and just concentrate on the pure cinema experience. Wait, isn't this just a remake of an animated movie you saw when you were a kid?
Son of a bitch!
Anyway, about...
Yeah, that's modern theaters. Yeah, modern movies. You were going to the cinema earlier today. Man, I don't even remember what was the last movie I watched in a theater. No clue. Absolutely no clue. Might have been an Alien movie? Alien 4? The one that was after Prometheus? By the way, that movie wasn't good. Both of those movies weren't good. Or something else? I don't know. It's almost 10 years ago. But I didn't watch the movie. Must have been bad then. I still remember watching all 3 Lord of the Rings movies in theater on the same day. It was so good. I spent about 12 hours almost in theater. It was so good. So good. Oh my god. That was a movie experience in theater that I actually cherished. That was so good.
3 hours and several bathroom breaks later, you finally make it home, tired, mildly pissed off, and about $100 out of pocket, and you find yourself asking the question, what the fuck was the point in any of that? So with all that in mind, is it any wonder that more and more people are just opting out of movie theaters altogether? Like, be honest with yourself for a second. Unless you're a genuine cinephile who needs to see everything on the biggest screen imaginable, is it really worth the time, the hassle, the expense, the irritation and the discomfort just to see something that'll probably be available on streaming in a few weeks anyway?
No. The thing is, only some movies are worth going to the theater. For example, all those love comedies that women always watch. Completely not worth having it in the theater. Not at all. Now, movies like Star Wars, yes. Actually, I think movies, science fiction movies, everything that's having lots of effects in it, and great sound design and stuff like that, they are great for theaters. They're actually getting enhanced by being on the big screen and having Dolby Surround around you and literally feeling the sound in your guts. You know? That works. That's great. Comedies and stuff like that? No. Last time you've watched Horror Session 3? I have never heard of that. Movie name Horror Session 4? What? There's another one? I don't know. Never heard of that.
Which brings me neatly along to my second point, the alternative. The appeal of the movie experience was always in the scale and spectacle, because until pretty recently, nothing in your home could ever hope to compete with it. Not anymore, however. These days, like $1,000 or less will get you a pretty serious home cinema setup. A setup that's ready to go whenever you want it, where you don't have to drive for half an hour just to get there, or shell out for overpriced snacks, or sit through endless trailers and commercials for the privilege of watching something that you've already paid for, or be forced to share the experience with a bunch of strangers who can...
Netflix movies have very bad sexism? Yes. Absolutely. They hate men. And it's very obvious.
Spoil your enjoyment at any time they want, where you can pause the movie whenever you want and never miss a second of it, and most importantly, where the whole thing doesn't set you back more than $100 a pop. It's a trade-off for sure, a trade-off between spectacle on one side and comfort and convenience on the other, and the fact is, that trade-off's getting more and more appealing for the average person every single year. When you get right down to it, the harsh reality is that movie theaters are an outdated form of entertainment now, a holdover from the 20th century that's been propped up beyond its time by one simple philosophy: more. Gigantic budgets, more visual effects, bigger screens, louder sound systems. Studios and theaters have been locked into a cinematic arms race for decades now, pushing technology and spectacle as far as they could go until finally they hit...
Remember 3D movies? They were sitting there having... Worst thing for me? Having 3D glasses over my glasses. Such a great experience. And the worst thing is, when 3D movies were the only version the movie would came out in theaters. So if I wanted to watch a movie, that specific movie in theater, it had to be 3D. There was no choice. A real man uses Amazon Prime Video. Nah. A real man only goes out, buys physical copies. Only of the stuff he actually wants to watch. You can't watch 3D movies, you have glasses. Kind of the same. It's really hard to watch a 3D movie by actually wearing glasses. The last time you watched Superman was a disgrace. The last movie? I've not really heard anything good or negative about it. It's whatever.
An evolutionary dead end. It was always going to happen, it was just a question of when. And as it happens, the answer is now. So what does it all mean? Is this the end of Hollywood? The end of movies? The end of the world as we know it? No, of course not. There's always going to be a demand for entertainment. That'll never change. It's just the method of delivery that's evolving. People are going to watch more movies in the comfort of their own homes. It's inevitable. Theatrical windows are going to get shorter and probably vanish altogether eventually, so that movies will get released simultaneously onto streaming and theatrical. Movie theaters will still exist to some extent, but just like the old musical theaters from the 19th century, they'll become a much more niche experience, reserved for film buffs and occasional big event movies that people can't afford to miss.
Yeah, I can see that, yes, completely. For example, theaters, like little theaters where plays are being, shown with actors on stage. Who's watching stuff still? Basically no one. It's a rich people thing. Rich people keep that alive, and the governments. That's it. That's the only reason that still exists, at least in the West. The only reason. Because I can tell you, no one I ever knew wanted to go to a theater and watch a play. No one. I only watched one play because it was a school thing. We went there for a school trip, whatever. And no one cared. No one cared. Literally no one cared. Maybe the teachers, but not the pupil. No, not at all.
Box office revenues are going to keep declining until eventually they become obsolete metrics, and a film's real success will be determined by the number of hours watched on streaming, none of which will be independently verifiable, allowing studios to hide massive and embarrassing flops behind subscription walls.
Yeah.
And as for the studios themselves, I'd expect more and more of them to be bought over by streaming and tech giants like Netflix, Apple, and Amazon in the years ahead. Businesses that make their real money elsewhere and can easily afford to pump billions of dollars into film and TV production, even if a lot of it never actually turns a profit. Do I like where all this is going? Not really, because despite all their flaws, I think there is still something kind of special about going into a movie theater and just losing yourself in a film for a couple of hours. But pretending this stuff...
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I literally need to watch a couple of movies, because when I watch movies, I'm getting relaxed. I forget everything around me, which is great. It's a really good thing for me to calm down.
Isn't happening, or that it can be magically reversed, is like telling yourself that internet cafes or public payphones or video rental stores are going to make a comeback someday. They won't, because the moment technology made these things irrelevant, the culture quickly adapted to live without them.
Yeah.
Movie theaters are dying out, and the Hollywood system that relied on them is dying along with them.
Yeah.
Whether something better eventually comes to replace them is anyone's guess. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Twitter is a
shit show.